because we have an entire kit dedicated to binding, I'm going to focus strictly on binding this character and some of the things that you're going to be want to be aware of while you're doing the binding and painting the weights process. I'm also going to teach you a couple of different techniques that don't necessarily involve just grabbing the paint weights tool and going to town, but a little more systematic approach. All right, so binding the character is super easy. All we need to do is unreference our geometry so it's selectable again. Okay, we'll go to wireframe, and I'm going to select the geometry, shift select the joints. There we go, at the root. Okay, we want to make sure we select that root. All right, we'll go up here to skin, bind skin. We'll go to smooth bind option box, and let's just reset everything just in case. Now, currently what this is saying is bind the geometry to the entire joint hierarchy. We can choose selected joints or object hierarchy, but we're going to do the entire joint hierarchy. And we're going to say closest to the hierarchy, okay, and maximum of 5 influences. What that means is something around like the hip area. Each one of those points will have a maximum influence of 5 joints, 5 neighboring joints, and that's great to get some really smooth. Now, I have oftentimes just used 3, and it looks just fine. So I like that. And also, this is a newer option for some of you. You may not have this option, colorize skeleton. I prefer to have this because it just gives me more feedback when working. All right, we'll hit bind skin. And at this point, we have generically bound our character. Okay, so if you see, if I now move my global control, it moves the skin. Okay, let me go to shaded mode here. Okay, if I grab my hip control, okay, my character is moving now. Okay, if I grab my foot, so I'm starting to get some results here. I'm starting to get this character moving like a real character. What we have now is a problem of weighting. The system did not know which particular joint we want that particular point to be associated with. It just did the max influence of 5, and it tried to do its best, but there's going to be little issues. Okay, let's talk about what some of these issues could be. Let's go ahead and go to shading, wireframe on shaded. Okay, this will give us an opportunity to see our wireframe here. And let me grab my left foot. Now, as I move my left foot, look what's happening to my right foot. Okay? You notice that some of these points are moving also. Well, what that means is whenever this system bound the geometry to those joints, it looked at the joints over here and said, well, I have an area of influence, so let me go ahead and grab some of these points as well. So when I move here, it moves these points. Well, we don't want that. We want to specifically say these are the points that we want to be bound to these joints. Now, in the first edition of the binding kit, I talked to you about how to just paint weights. What I want to do now is show you a little bit more of a systematic approach, and we're going to start with each leg first, and we'll go from there. So let's hit F8. Now, you'll notice as I work, I'm not going to go to right-click vertex because it's still not in component mode. It will grab the joints, okay, and we don't want that. All right, I'm going to select the joints of the points of the leg here. Okay, I want to make sure that I don't grab any on the back there. Okay, and you can go to wireframe if it's a little bit easier to see. All right. And this is the left leg. So what I want to do is find any of the right leg joints, okay, the hip, the knee, the ankle, or the toe. I want to find out if any of these have influence over here. The easiest way to do that is with the Maya component editor. So we'll go to Window, General Editor, Component Editor. Now, the component editor is essentially, you'll come to this, this is essentially just like an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, it's going to show you all these options up here, all these specific attributes that you can work with. So we're going to go to Smooth Skin. And then over here, it shows me the object name, female surface. And then these are all the selected vertices, all the yellow vertices here. Now at the top, I see all of my joints. So what I want to do is, since I'm working on the left side, I want to go and scroll over to the right side. Okay, so here we go. And we see here that joint 16, we probably need to go find out what joint 16 is. Let me go find joint 16 real quick. Joint 16. Oh, the pinky there. Let me just rename that. Let's go F8, get out of there. Okay. I can leave it joint 16. That's fine. All right, let me undo so we can get our selection back. There we go. And let's take a look here. Let's see. What I'm doing is I'm scrolling down to see if there are any values in joint 16. Nope, no values. All right, I see here under right toe, if I scroll up a little bit, I have some values here. So what that means is when I move the right toe joint, some of these points are going to be adjusted. Well, what I can do is remove that influence. Okay, I'll just select all the way down like that, put in 0, hit enter, and now when I move this control, no points over here move. Okay, and I'll show you over here. As I move this control, watch the vertices here. Okay, you see where it changes right here at the heel? Okay, so let's fix that now. I'm just going to jump over to my front view. And let's go F8. And I'll grab my little lasso tool here. Just makes for a little bit of an easier selection. There we go. And then let's go back to our component editor. So what I'm going to look for is the left toe, which is right here. And I can see it does have some values. Very small, but it does. I just clicked the first one, shift selected the last one. I'll press 0, enter. And let's test our rig now. You'll notice when I move this control, now this has no influence. So this is a different way of painting weights. Essentially what we're saying is remove the influence of that particular joint, and what it will do is respread the influence back over these joints that it's currently bound to. This is a great technique, and our in-house animator, Delano, is the one who's really pushed us to use this technique, and I really am growing to be very fond of it. All right, now we'll take a look at, in the next lesson, fixing up the foot and moving slowly up the chain here.